and welcome everyone to the Warhammer Meta Chasers. My name is Paul, your host. I'm in a different spot because I am at the ATC, hanging out, doing some tournament stuff. My name is Paul, your host. Got Adam Camilleri.
G'day, everybody.
And Dustin Henshaw.
Hello, hello, hello.
This is your weekly tournament-focused Warhammer podcast where we talk about the biggest and best tournaments coming up over the weekend and the meta and how it's shaping up. And this is going to be a great weekend for that. How are y'all doing this weekend?
Pretty damn good, mate. And well done streaming on location in the Chattanoogas where the ATC will be happening.
Yeah,
this
actually
weekend.
going to be able to play in the event too, eh? You're not even.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's something you don't get to do as often because you're always commentating. Now you're going to be you're actually on the table. People are going to have a chance to play against the great Paul Murphy.
Look, I hope we get into those echelons. We'll see how it works out. So
Well,
we are.
If you rack up like event like picks as well as you rack up points on the table, you should be just fine.
It's true. It's true.
Look, I wish I was playing Blood Angels this weekend, but I'm playing Death Guard. I will say, like, I know it's tough. It's tough. Like sometimes you have to do what the team needs you to do, and that's what I'm doing as far as clubs and teams go. What's up? But anyway, welcome to everyone tuning into us live. We have three great events to talk about this weekend. We have the Sheffield Super Major, the TGX, and of course the ATC. Can't wait to talk about it. How y'all? Originally, how's everyone doing? It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be a stupendous weekend. A little bit quiet last weekend. This weekend, we have 100-player events plus from the UK, 100-player event from Canada, and two more than 100-player events from the ATC. We're going to be having full coverage, faction coverage only, of the 8-pack and the 5-pack teams. Paul, which are you playing in? Or are you doing both? You're going to double table?
Yeah, I wish I could, right? Like, I jump over it. No, you said quiet last weekend, but shattering point records for predictions.
Yeah.
Default,
from all of your amazing picks that you
sweet.
specifically picked, right, Paul?
Look, we set these rules in place years ago, and it's nice that they can follow out to fruition.
Never. The sweetest plum. One day, your day too will come, Dustin, when you're not here in GSC. Pop off
right.
to hellacious level.
It's not going to happen.
No, it could happen. It could happen.
It could.
Well, who knows? We've seen things like AdMech, who are going to have a very interesting week ahead, go from, zero to hero in many different ways. Drukhari as well won a major last weekend. Imperial Knights, nothing stays at the bottom in perpetuity in 10th edition. It is a rotating meta, and we are here to chase it, run it down, run it to ground, and tell you all about it.
So here, the Sheffield Super Major is in England, 202 players, 7-round event. What are we going to see there?
So the Imperial Super Faction, there are 10 Sisters of Battle, 5 Custodes, 3 AdMech, 10 Astra Militarum, 8 Grey Knights, 4 Imperial Knights, Space Marines, there's 13 Adeptus Astartes, 11 Dark Angels, 8 Space Wolves, 11 Blood Angels, 2 Death Watch, and 2 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 5 Chaos Space Marines, 7 T-Suns, 4 Death Guard, 11 World Eaters, 8 Demons, and 8 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 12 Necrons, 12 Orcs, 7 Votan, and 7 Tau. Hive Mind, there's 13 Tyranids and 4 G's to their call. Wow, that's a...
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I know, I'm as surprised as you are.
What? That's amazing.
Huh?
All right, I like to see it. Eldari, there's 8 Drukhari and 9 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Tyranids and Astartes, topping it off at 13. Necrons and Orcs right behind them at 12. And then World Eaters, Blood Angels, and Dark Angels, one more behind them at 11.
I want to pause right. That's a record number of Blood Angels.
Is it?
I think it is. I think it's, look, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a record number of Blood Angels.
It's a lot, and the fact that there are 3 Adeptus Astartes super faction on the podium, Vanilla Astartes, Blood Angels, and Dark Angels, all making either gold or bronze, is ridiculous. And if you cast your eyes over the super faction stats, there are more Space Marines there than any other super faction. And Space Marines are only like a super faction because it's the easiest way to us to quantify that conglomerate of how many different sub factions you've got there. It's not a true like super faction like others are, but when you treat it as such, you can see crazy stuff like this. 47 people playing Astartes, Adeptus Astartes. That is absurd. When it's all said and done, you have to be good against Armor Contempt.
That's
and this is after the changes with the Iron Storm and that kind of stuff, this is still hecka strong.
Absolutely, and still very deep. I'm surprised that the vanilla Astartes hanging 10 up there. Like, I would not have been surprised to see that switched with Blood Angels, to your point, Paul, where vanilla Astartes somewhere on the podium is not unexpected, but being in pole position is kind of unusual, is a little impressive, and I'm here for it. I think it's really cool. Apart from that, the breakdown is pretty much what we'd expect. I'm seeing orc numbers start to spike again, where they had straight after all the changes came through, they had a bit of a nosedive, but now they're starting to climb once again. So I wonder if there's some very spicy new tech out there, or players have had enough time.
What do you think, though?
Yeah, so we've got a dread mob list to unpack in the next event, which I think is a direction they can go as long as the terrain is conducive. But they always have the fallback of the Warhorde, of what they were doing pre-Codex was not bad. It was not a bad way to play 10th edition, and 10.5 I think is even a little bit better for them. The only issue is that Warhorde brings a lot of trucks and characters, and so you can find yourself, it's like T-Suns. You can't really win without using your war bosses, right? You gotta give up those assassinate points for the other points, but they're in a very unique position because they still have some unique and powerful things to do, but they're not always good on every terrain subset or every format. And of course, this is going to be the LGT format, or the UK TC tournament, rather. So the terrain is pretty good. It's not I wouldn't say it's as dense. There's a few more firing angles here than you'll find on WTC or Games of Workshop, but it's still a very, very well constructed system. And I like that differentiation. The LGT is a little bit better for shooting armies, WTC is a little bit better for melee armies, and GW's kind of in the middle. And I think we have that spread now in the community, or at least that's been my impression of those terrain systems. I haven't played at a UK TC event myself.
Oh, no, you are absolutely right. That's the great distinction between the three. You're right.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely fantastic. As for the top players in attendance, in lieu of the fact that we're just doing faction stats for the ATC, I've pulled out two lists for your viewing pleasure from each of our other events. The first of which is Kyle Grundy, who is ranked number 5 in the freaking world in the ITC. He's playing.
So this is the point in the season where we're actually going to try to focus on the players that are
correct,
participating high in the ATC with their cumulative point score over multiple tournaments. These are the top ranked players in the world for their faction or in their region.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. And of course, once we cross the halfway point of the year, we really get, people have played enough of certain factions. We've got faction specialists throwing their class and caliber, the world over. And the ITC really reflects people who, double down, triple down, travel, go to big events and put up those scores. And we want to honor that. And not only that, give you guys an insight into what the best players in the world this year are doing. So he's got a Carrion detachment. So not Retaliation Cadre and not Monkar, which have been the two more favored since the Codex dropped. So Carrion is what we've got here for Kyle Grundy. 2 Cadre Fireblades and Dark Strider, not an enhancement in sight. 2x10 breaches, which is an associated Devilfish. Cadre Fireblades, join the breaches, go on the Devilfish. Great package. 2x2 broadsides. I've seen some broadsides here and there. I haven't seen 2x2 yet. I've seen 1x2 in a couple of other places though.
I have not seen them exist at all. So this is interesting. To be a meta pick.
Yeah, well, they're down to 90 points per. And they're quite durable for 90. And of course, they come on from a table edge. They rapid ingress if they need to get it into a firing line. And like I said about UKTC, not bad firing lanes. So I think they're pretty good for that. 2 Ion Hammerheads, if I remember correctly. 10 Pathfinders, triple Riptide, which we're not surprised to see. And now the new utility unit of choice of Tau being taken in spades. 3x3 stealth suits is the new premium. Can't go wrong with the stealth suits. What do you make of it, gentlemen?
I think the stealth
and
suits are a complete auto-include now. They actually fill a lot of gaps that they kind of lost with the...
Wait, yeah. Which ones are they auto-include?
The stealth suits. They replaced the... What were they? The Tetras. The Tetras, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, essentially...
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was Tetras, there was Piranhas, and sometimes there was Crude Hounds. And now the Pathfinder, the stealth suits are pretty much doing the better job than all of those because they ride a beautiful point per durability. So they're always next to hit with the stealth and the infiltrate, getting up, really being a little bit of a nuisance as well. They don't have insignificant firepower for the points, but then they're not pushing the echelons or anything like that, but they can definitely help with the chip damage.
Yeah. So Dorian in the chat says no ghost kills. Interesting.
Yes.
And I actually feel like ghost kills are. I think they've been a standout unit for months, but not making their way into Tau list, and obviously absent from this Tau list as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I feel like that's where the broadside points came from.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
yeah, that's what you have to give up for the broadsides. I guess what Kyle's weighted up here. But to your point, I think the ghost kills feel really good on UKTC because, like we said, there's a lot of firing lanes, and I'm sitting in the firing lane. Are you in 12?
They have the drones to blank a couple of turns too, but at the same time, look, you cannot like fifth in the ITC, right?
Yeah, no.
So like
we can't say crap.
Yeah, not discounting that, right? But like challenging the convention, like that's what we're about, and so I'm glad you picked out this list to highlight.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to the next one. Malik, Amin, Rubio, who I believe, if I remember correctly, a couple of years ago won the LGT. He's going into a little bit of a popping up, popping out. He's
playing Chaos Space Marines a couple of years ago, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, and then he had he played the 6 flyer Skitari list, 6 flyer AdMech list, when that was absolutely ridiculous. And I believe that's the he won the LGT. So Adeptus Mechanicus, Skitari Hunter cohort, of course, Adeptus Mechanicus absolutely on the rise. So definitely want to have a look at this one. I can't tell you what these enhancements are. Somebody in chat, figure it out. One of them's infiltrate. One of them's another thing.
One of them infiltrate.
So,
I think that.
So the one that's
clandestine infiltrator, probably the infiltrate one, right? I would imagine.
Yeah.
Battlesphere uplink and the veiled hunter is the ones in question.
Exactly
so
right.
People driving their cars, by the way, could tell us where we're wrong about everything we say past.
I'm pretty sure one of them is shoot and scoot.
Yes, I was about to say.
I love it. I love a good shoot and scoot.
Yeah,
me too. But there are 3 marshals, all with a relevant enhancement. 2x10 rangers, 3x10 vanguards, of course, go with the marshals, and then go in the 3 dune riders. 10 Ruststalkers, 3 units of 2 Iron Strider Ballistari with their las cannons, 10 Taraxi Sterilizers, 2 Disintegrators, which is the very new hotness, a Bare Bones Inquisitor, and Kyria Draxus. And I'm assuming they're going to be going with the Ranger units.
So where are the Disintegrators? Like, is it on the crawlers or whatever?
No,
like,
they're the same as the same chassis as the transport, and then the airline.
The gunboat version.
Okay.
Which we haven't seen.
The tank version. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Taken in quite some time. They were really good in 9th edition, or sorry, late 8th edition. They were extremely powerful. And essentially they skipped 9th, went straight to 10th edition. And now
do they still have the indirect, or are they just still direct fire?
They do, but I believe the direct fire gun is now better. Because I believe they just get a bunch of las cannon shots, and then they have the twin linked missiles at the front, and then a couple of stubber shots as well. So they're actually really quite a good. And the key is here they got a 2-up armor save. That's the key. Ooh. So in the Skitari Hunter cohort, of course, you have cover, stealth, all that good stuff added into your detachment rule, and so they double down on that and actually give you your backline durability. So essentially, they play a little bit like a Lehman Russ now. Whereas previously they were playing more like a basilisk, I guess. Whereas now they're actually they've been reskinned to be much more of a mainline battle tank. And for the points, which I believe is around the 180-ish points mark, they're actually pretty well pointed for what they do. And they add something very unique that the Skitari can't really get anywhere else. Only 10 Ruststalkers. I'm usually seeing more like 10-5 or 10-5-5 or even 10-10. So trim down a little bit there in order to get the 10 sterilizers in, which I do really like. That's the 10 flamers. So you have an Overwatch threat. Plus, of course, they arrive from Deep Strike, very good rapid ingress to go take a flank as well. Not bad in combat. And then you just got 50 Skitari guys on foot to go do all your mission stuff. I think it's a really, really nice list.
I love that, by the way. I think that's very utilitarian that you do not see in list right now.
Yes, I like this list. This has like all the tools. It's got a bunch of when you add in the 2 disintegrators plus the 6 chicken walkers with las cannons, you have a lot of good long range fire support, which I think is really key here. And then of course it's got 1 really good counter assault unit, which I'm assuming the Ruststalkers are going to be held as the deterrent and then sent in. They can go in the Dune Riders, which I found wild with their little pogo legs to get 10 of those guys inside one of those things. But they can just go like 27 inches and they can just charge you from 27 inches away. So they just, if you are unprepared, they'll sit in
that's half the board.
Correct.
You can't hide from that.
Kraken Steelers.
Back of the napkin math. That's a long way.
Yeah.
Just yeah. But as the crow flies, but you guys remember Kraken Gene Stealers in 8th edition, where you would just be like, "Oh God, I left this tiny gap. You're 36 inches away. Oh, I'm getting charged.
Yep,
you're gonna double move, double fight." That's how it feels with these guys because we're a smaller board than we were in 8th edition. We're a little bit closer together, and in some matchups where you start 18 inches away, they're just gonna like if you leave a gap, they're just gonna eat something really, really valuable. So yeah, I think this is a really well put together list by Malik. Should do extremely well, gents. But time for some picks. I'm going to roll a dice.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
1 2's Dustin, 3 4's me, 5 6 Paul. Me, I'm going first this one. All right. Chaos Space Marines.
Ooh.
You know why? I'm doing that because Josh Roberts is there. Number one player.
Nice.
Wow.
The perks of doing the dirty work and putting the show together. Right here. Let's go. Paul, you can go next.
Oh, I got to go next?
Do it.
Yeah, sure.
Blood Angels.
Yeah, baby. If it ain't broke,
So what we're doing is we're picking what we think is going to place in the top finisher. So we actually, part of the things we do is predict what we're going to finish at the top of the heap. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and so on the second part of the show, which essentially is the review of the main show. So this is the main show where we go back and we do the analysis of at minimum 2 events, if not 3 events. We will look back and see what won, and we have a little point system for a little game we play with each other for racking up points. And right now, Paul is absolutely annihilating us. So come over and grab that over on part 2, if you so please. All the links are all over the screen. Dusty boy, what would you like?
I'll take Tau.
Yeah, not a bad pick. Number 5 in the world in attendance with Tau. You can't see him not, smacking a top 10 spot, right? Yeah, at a minimum. That's Sheffield, gents.
Yeah. So the next event we're going to be talking about is the TGX. This is from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
Saga, you got it.
Mississauga, Mississauga.
Still did better than I would have.
96 players, 6-round event, which 6 rounds is, I guess, 3 rounds a day, maybe?
Yep, 3 or 3.
Yep.
Going to be interesting things. What are we going to see there?
So for the Imperial Super Faction, there are 6 Sisters of Battle, 2 Custodes, 7 AdMech, 5 Astra Militarum, 4 Grey Knights, and 4 Imperial Knights. Space Marines are 2 Adeptus Astartes, 4 Dark Angels, 2 Space Wolves, 4 Blood Angels, 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 6 Chaos Space Marines, 6 T-Suns, 4 Death Guard, 2 World Eaters, 2 Demons, and 2 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 8 Necrons, 3 Orcs, 5 Tau, but not a single Votan in sight. Hive Mind, there's 8 Tyranids and 3 Gs to their call. This is my backyard. I'm not surprised about that one here. Darius is 4 Drukhari and 5 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Necrons and Tyranids, topping it off again here with 8. Adeptus Mechanicus making a second place podium spot here with 7.
I love to see that.
First time on the podium this edition. I don't know that for sure, but I'm fairly confident.
Yeah, I would.
That is the first time.
I would put money on that. Yeah, for sure. And then CSM, T-Suns, and Sisters right behind them with 6. Let me say that again. CSM, T-Suns, and Sisters of Battle have less representation than AdMech at this event.
AdMech. You love to see it, though. You love to see it. Also, shout out.
AdMech are so 40K. Like, I actually love the fact that they are.
Quintessential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out in the chat, by the way, our Pure Tide program. That is Mr. Kyle Grundy, whose list we just unpacked. Sorry, mate, if you joined us a little bit late and you just missed the Sheffield analysis. You'll have to go watch it back. We did say some kind words about your list.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I'm counting on you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm counting on you for some points.
Y'all don't see this, but in our documents, Adam is listed me as saying Tau for the last event.
Pardon?
Which is not.
Sorry.
You did.
Which is not correct.
That's incorrect.
Shh. So he needs to be stopped.
Look, and I may live to eat those words, but you have to tune in for our Patreon to see if I do eat those words.
Fair. Thank you for the catch, Paul. The 2 top players in attendance that I've decided to pull out for this one. The first of which is Sam Procopio, which is Blood Angels. He's a Blood Angel specialist. And I've left this one for Paul. Tell us about this list, brother.
Oh, Lamarties, which gets all the rerolls and all the bit of Captain with a jump pack, Artisan of War, 2 Sanguinary Priests of jump packs, 3x5 Assault Intercessors, which are so great because they get to not only charge objectives but flip them and get bonuses for taking you off those objectives. A Ball Predator, which is very interesting. Here we go. Death Company, 10 5 Death Company with jump packs. I have to imagine they're all powerless with fusion pistols.
Yep.
Yeah, which is what you would see there, which I think is we can talk about if they're going to exist later on, but 5 infiltrators and then 2x5 scouts and then 2x10 Vanguard veterans. Some interesting choices here. 2x10 veteran Vanguards and then the Ball Predator. Very interesting.
Yeah, so this is a little bit different. Of course, we can assume the Sanguinary Priests are going with the Vanguard veterans, so they get that beautiful 4-up invul and 5-up feel no pain, and then of course you can double down by trying to armor contempt them. The Captain with jump pack is the interesting one. Is he just going to go with Assault Intercessors, and then they're going to try and supercharge, and he's just going to be a bit of a better beater? Because of course Lamar is going to go with the 10 Death Company with jump packs.
Yeah, I think you do that.
Yeah. What is also spicy here is the 2x5 Death Company with jump packs. So I think what Sam has identified is that there is a bunch of units that are going on objectives early that 5 Assault Intercessors won't kill, 10 Vanguard Veterans is overkill, and 10 Death Company is massive overkill. So you need something in the middle. You need something in the middle of those. So more killy than Assault Intercessors, less killy than the Vanguard Veterans to go and trade on objectives.
Do you think that whole equation has been kind of come together to exist and find room for the Ball Predator?
Yes, exactly right. And I do love that you pointed out the Ball Pred, because we're seeing either this is the first time in a while I've seen a single Ball Pred. We're ever seeing sometimes people taking 2 or 3 in team events or taking none most of the time.
I do love the guns on the Ball Predator, by the way, but I think there's a weird situation where you find yourself can I include one or not? I'm using this is my hands. So my hands that you see on the screen right now are how I slot in things on list or whatever. And sometimes you don't find the room for the Ball Predator.
What was the name of Tony Stark's computer?
That is Jarvis.
Jarvis. That's what I'm imagining right now. You have a bunker under your house, and you and Jarvis just writing lists. Just move that unit out, chuck that unit in. That's
why does he have? Because he covers because Nick Fury has the eyes. He covers that's where the Ball Predator is.
Love it.
And that's what I think. That is the skill that I think that Sam, because we talked about on the show before, that's why I think this list has been able to be contrived.
So one of the major omissions here is the Sanguinor's not present, and we've seen the Sanguinor being taking a lot here, there, and everywhere.
Sanguinor is amazing. I feel like he's auto include, and that's why you have to listen to what this list is being highlighted as.
So talking to Sam and some other very good Blood Angels players, they find at times he can be a little bit superfluous, in the fact that really good players will play around him, and he's only really good when people are aggressive against you. When you're aggressive against them, which is exactly what Blood Angels just motor step operandi, that's exactly what they're doing, doesn't always get the value that you think. And I'm here to tell you, stop being cowards, Blood Angels players. Deploy the Sanguinor on the table in those matchups. Deploy the Sanguinor on the table in those matchups and just use him as a lone op. And then you'll still find value from the guy. Because a lot of people are saying, I played against a really good player and he just kind of had the deep strike on turn 3 because he wasn't really engaging with me. And then turn 4, turn 5, we really got stuck in. And so the Sanguinor really didn't do anything. Then deploy the guy. If you're worried about that, deploy him. He's a 12-inch lone op. He's one of the most durable lone ops in the game for the size of the base. He's a freaking 25 mil base.
No, he's 32. I think he's 32. He's 32 on that. Yeah,
with a 2-up and a bunch of wounds and an invuln, just use him as a lone up in your backfield. No one's putting 5 scouts in your backfield to take an objective from the Sanguinor. It's not happening.
You're exactly right about that. It's but determining when you use those tricks and not to default into behaving with the same thing the same way every time.
Correct.
Makes you a better player.
I can tell you he took it out specifically to add another 5 Death Company with jump packs.
I was about to say, 5 Death Company with jump packs is almost the same cost, right? It's maybe 5-10 points difference.
Yeah, it's a very negligible difference.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't know if I love that for that trade. But at the same time, you cannot argue with success.
tell us a little bit about this meta, Dustin, if you are aware. Why would he be so keen on the infiltrators, which we have seen somewhat, they kind of have their day. They go up and they go down. Is that because there's more hypercrypt? There's a lot of Grey Knights here.
There's a lot of
why
Grey
would
Knights,
he be...
a lot of hypercrypt. He's used to fighting GSC. He is one of my regular practice partners, so I do apologize for that part. That might have been part of it. But he does like the infiltrators for the backfield presence to make sure that things don't strike in the backfield. And it lets him be aggressive in matchups that he wants to be aggressive.
I love the infiltrators inclusion, by the way. There's a lot of debate around what infiltrators are, the incursors or whatever that you take, and for what reason.
So the only time I beat Blood Angels is when I can make them go backwards. I get stuff behind them and make them turn around units to go backwards. And so the infiltrators are just like, I never need to turn around tool. We're like, backfield's locked down, not a problem. Everything forward into the meat grinder, so much the better. Onto our second list, we have Diogo Pita playing a dread mob of orcs. Now, of course, we want to shine a light on that dread mob, on those orcs. And then I'm going to ask Dustin, is this going to work on this terrain? But he has 2 big mechs with shock attack guns, Snickrot and Zodrog. And then 20, 10, 10 Gretchen. Of course, the 20 will go with Zodrog and be far more annoying than their points tell you they should be. A single truck, 5 Meganobs, who I'm assuming, get turned around. The full complement of killer cans, 3x6 killer cans. That is a lot of thickness. 2x3 mech guns, which have smasher guns, and then 2x5 Stormbows for utility, and another unit of 3 Warbikers for the same utility. So this is one of the lists that when the Orc Codex first came out, people were like, is this just good? Is this just gonna be amazing? And it has been good, but only when the terrain is very judicious and allows.
I want to say this, and then I'll shut up. Is like, I'm glad this list is featured because I think it's amazing. I think it's been amazing as soon as the Orc Codex came out, just like you said. And then, like, can it hold a candle to the stuff that's out there right now?
Can it hold a candle? Alliteration. Where's the snare drum? Dun-dun-dun, for the can list. Well done, my man.
I do my best.
Top shelf. Dustin, what's the terrain going to be like on this? And can this list function and shine?
Yes, it can. I believe it's actually going to be GW terrain, so it's going to be a little open. It has the ability to get the angles it needs. So, you picked out 2 of my regular practice partners. I don't know if that was intentional or so.
Well, we will.
How do they beat you, Dustin, on the regular? Like,
they don't. What are you talking about?
On this show?
Oh, yes. Yes.
As well-rounded chasers of the meta, we will take the extra insight where we can get it. If we have hometown heroes and we can put them on here, and Dustin can give us a little bit extra juice, why the hell not?
Yeah, for sure. Like this list, Diogo is actually I don't think he really knows it a lot of the time, but he's a very aggressive player. He likes to just kill people. And this is a list that gives him that capability. He can go forward. He can shoot. If they show their face, they're in a lot of trouble.
I feel like this is Necrons. And when I look at this list, I'm like, is this Necrons?
Spicy.
Okay.
3x6 killer cans in lieu of the Wraiths. The Smasher Gun mech guns in lieu of the Doomstalkers. And then you've just kind of got utility stuff sticking it all together. In the Gretchen, 20 Gretchen can be, kind of seen as like swarms, or like scarabs or whatever, or Tomb Blazers going out early with the infiltrator that they have, walling people off, giving you a chance to get those killer cans into the lanes where you need them. Zodrog is just a ridiculous amount of utilities. Snickrot, like a Hexmark destroyer, jumping up and down. And then, Meganobs, because it's just kind of like pseudo Catan when it's all stuck together. It's kind of sick. I like this list a lot, but like I said, the logistics of wielding it on the table is the skill check of wielding the Dread Mob now, making it work for you and getting your units firing, shooting. Because if you look at this list, apart from the Smasher Guns, everything's multimodal. Like everything in this list, Gretchen and Smasher Guns can shoot and fight. And so you'd love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I'm just telling people what the Smasher Guns do, because I do believe the Smasher Gun is probably the best choice. It's blast with D3 plus 1 shots, hits on 4s because they're Gretchen, and they'll reroll 1s against monsters, against anything that isn't at its starting strength. With strength 9 minus 3 damage, which is quite a good space
3 damage. Profile. That's huge right now.
Yeah, it's really big. I love this list. I think Diogo's going to have a hell of a lot of fun. We'll see how well he does, because I'm definitely going to want to know in part 2. When we record it next week, I'm going to look back and see how the Dread Mob shaped up.
I can say too that this event is providing a paid-for plane ticket and hotel for like golden
Ooh.
ticket. So Diogo he already has a golden ticket, but he wants the paid for one now. So
Okay. And what's he gonna do with the second one then?
I don't
He's gonna
know.
raffle it
I
off.
don't know. Raffle it off, maybe.
Give it to his favorite opponent.
Maybe.
Anyway, time to pick some winners, gents. And seeing as Dustin, this is in your backfield, you should probably pick last. Paul, you want to pick first?
Damn it!
What are you picking first, Adam?
No, you're picking. No, you. I picked first last time. I picked first last time, so you pick first, mate.
This is tough because this is if you listen to us on Patreon. By the way, subscribe to us on Patreon. If you're a tier 2 or higher subscriber, all tiers are great, but you get to hear the second part of the show where we get to razz on each other about how we picked or whatever. And I predicted how I probably would have screwed up last week. So anyway, tune in for that if you so choose. But at the same time, if I get a choice, I'm still picking Blood Angels.
Damn it!
I knew you would. I knew you would. Man, I feel like I want to just be and live my meme dreams and pick Admech because there's when else am I going to get a chance?
I will tell you, Adam, that one of the Admech players is another one of my practice partners on my team. Regular practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will let you know that there is very strong Grey Knight players here. Devon Swan wielding the Grey Knights is going to do extremely well job representing Canada at the WTC. Of course, Sam, who Paul just picked, representing Canada as well. I know.
He's trying to think.
He called me. I already picked mine. I picked Admech. I'm doing it. I'm locking it in.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dusty boy, what would you like?
I don't want to pick Diogo because I want to make him mad and get him to win.
Although, look, you know he watches, right? So
I know he does. He loves it when he's featured.
Thirsty.
I'm going to take Grey Knights.
That's a good pick. That was going to be my pick if I didn't just feel the call of the binary code.
I've been testing a lot against Grey Knights, and they are incredibly strong right now.
Did you not get my pun? The call.
That was
the Belisarius call of the.
Oh, he can give it. He just can't understand them.
My talents are wasted here.
No, call with
no.
Admech.
I meant that I picked Admech. I felt the call of the binary code anyway.
Oh, listen, can we sound effects? Can we get like a applause or some fireworks or whatever?
Okay, I'll make sure we have that for the next episode.
Adams, we need an air horn. Can I get that?
Doesn't work when I have to point it out twice.
No,
anyway,
look, you earned it. And like I'm gonna support it somehow. Should I make the noise?
I mean,
I'm not
by
going
default, I think if one of us was equipped to make good noises. Anyway, we have two more freaking events to unpack.
No, next event. We're talking about the North American Team Championship, the ATC in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The 5-player event. Let's start with the 8-player event, actually. 152 players, 19 teams of 8 over 5 rounds. This is going to be tough to spot. Dustin, what are we going to see there?
We will be seeing in Imperial Super Faction there are 11 Sisters of Battle, 8 Custodes, only 1 Admech here, 9 Astra Militarum, 11 Grey Knights, and 7 Imperial Knights.
I want to point out that 1 Admech is on my team.
Yeah!
Yeah, boy! What a lad.
Yeah! Lock it in that best in faction.
Best
Boom!
faction.
We're getting an award. Roman Kids getting highlighted.
The Space Marines, there's 3 Adeptus Astartes, 2 Dark Angels, 1 Space Wolf, 10 Blood Angels, 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 9 Chaos Space Marines, 8 T-Suns, 9 Death Guard, 5 World Eaters, 8 Demons, and 2 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 10 Necrons, 9 Orcs, and 13 Tau, 3 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 5 Tyranids and no G's, so they're called I Am Disappoint. Eldari, there's 5 Drukhari and 2 Eldari. Meaning the faction podium is technically Adeptus Astartes, topping it off with 17, so only 2 teams did not take a variety, some variety or flavor of Space Marines. Then we got Tau with 13, Sisters and Grey Knights tied with 11, the Necrons and Blood Angels? Is that what the brackets in there for? With 10?
Yeah, so I wanted to denote the Blood Angels, even though they're part of a super faction that was spent as a whole, they still technically made like the bronze on the podium.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then Orcs, Death Guard, CSM, and Astra Militarum pulling up the 4th spot with 9. That's a pretty good spread. I like it.
It's actually a very good spread. Like once if you just took away Adeptus Astartes from the top, which of course is kind of unfair. That's why I put it in brackets, because it's kind of like needs to be treated a little bit differently because it is a super faction, but you can only take one of per team. And of course, Paul, this is the usual rules for team events: only one codex per team. So no more than 9 teams.
Like Space Wolves and Blood Angels, like they take up like the Space Marine slot.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And so deciding which Space Marine you want is actually a really big, interesting conversation to have with your team. But Tau making it in good numbers is kind of impressive, is kind of surprising. What's the terrain going to be like there, Paul? Do you know the delineation of tables?
Yeah. There are the Games Workshop style formats split across all the tables. So it's like 2 per or whatever. So yeah, it's GW style terrain.
Yeah, so Tau do absolutely just fine on GW. They can have some struggles depending on how skewed into the backline firepower you go. You kind of want maybe a one more unit of breaches in fish than maybe you usually have. Or the crisis suits we're seeing starting to pop up. We did a breakdown on a crisis themed list that came I think 3rd at a large event last weekend, and they had 4 units of 3 crisis suits with a bunch of commanders, and did very well. But yeah, Sisters in good numbers, Grey Knights in good numbers, Necrons in good numbers, and then Orcs, Death Guard, CSM, and Ashmil Tarim. So Ashmil Tarim's a little bit on the surprising side, but in 8-pack, I think they can still do extremely well. They can push some very hard skews on players. The rest of it's pretty not surprising as far as things go. But we're starting to see, that 10.5 teams meta, like what are the top lists that people must take, starting to coalesce. And surprisingly, I have to say, yeah, Tau is the top of numbers right now.
So because of the terrain layouts, like there are 2 terrain layouts that are just a shooting gallery. Like they really are. Yeah. It's like juicy. You know what? If we get the roll off, we get to pick where we want. Like you're going to lose models, and the Tau are going to excel in that.
Yeah, the Tau are going to do their thing. But
and
apart
when
from
I say
that,
that, so there are a couple of layouts where the center of the table is open, and because there's a lot of missions where the objectives are across the center of the table. Yeah, and to create some situations.
Nice. Dustin, anything you're seeing here that's surprising? I actually straight up expected more Sisters, but it might be that there's a bit of hobby lag on the Sisters as people retool, oh no, I made 30 Arco-Flagellants. What do I do? Try to get more jump packs, more immolators, more Dominions as well, which is something we pretty much did not see in Index Sisters. So yeah, it could be a little bit of hobby lag on them, but still very strong numbers. Can't really say much when there's 11 there out of possible 19.
I mean, I'm actually, as odd as this feels to say, I'm actually a little surprised there's not more AdMech.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I do like AdMech in teams. I do think AdMech in teams is
absolutely. I like AdMech in teams. Like, is it an auto 8? Definitely not. But with this many teams of 8 players, there's got to be more AdMech players that are confident in this new boost they got.
They all went to the Great White North. They're all just like, let's get out. Let's go head up in Mississauga.
I was actually surprised when there weren't more than us.
Yeah. It's 50 more players at this event than the previous one, and yeah, 1 AdMech versus 7. So it's just the spice of the location. But anyway, let's head over. Sorry, we got to pick some winners. My apologies.
Battle point winners. So in team events, we only pick who we think is going to finish top in the battle point round.
And in a hunt with 19 teams in teams of 8, there's going to be like a couple of dudes who just flat track bully their way to max wins. There's just a couple, and usually it's not on the top scoring teams. Usually it's not the podium teams. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack. Some guy is just like, I'm here for a good time. I don't care what the rest.
These are also the crap.
Greens. But Dustin, you're going to pick first.
I'm going to pick first. For a team event with this kind of representation, I think I'm actually going to take Blood Angels.
Oh, yeah. Paul, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I need to throw Paul off his game. That's the plan right now.
It was just a disruption. It was just a tangle.
I don't even care if they win or lose. I just need to throw Paul off.
My goodness.
I'm going to take Sisters. Paul, what would you like?
Adeptus Sword. You're going Adeptus Sword toss.
I am.
I'm going to go with Chaos Space Marines.
Yep.
CSM. I was surprised none of us picked Tau. None of us picked Tau.
I think Tau are going to try to get themselves. Well, look, let's be honest. Nobody wants Tau to win this.
That's true. There you go. Let's be honest here.
My mate, I got my mate Duck, Hayden Walduck in the chat from Queensland. He's a Tau player. He would have.
Oh no, of course. Tau are absolutely awesome, right? But it's like, so there are. The way the tables are set up is like I don't know that every team is going to get the Tau set up the way they want it. So,
well, yeah, it could be the case that just in 5 rounds, the Tau player just has to play on an awkward table and just can't push a big differential, just can't get a big win. It can be the case.
They do need to be protected a little bit in pairings.
But if you protect them, they're savagery.
Yes,
they're just going to
absolutely.
brutalize. Like they're just going to absolutely,
They can't put up points. I think it's actually a great pick. So maybe we're all doing ourselves a disservice for not picking Tau. But I'm not going back. The next one, the 5-person event we're going to talk about is so this event. The AGC is actually going to have an 8-person and a 5-person event, and so the next event we're going to talk about is the same AGC. 285 players, 59 teams of 5 in a 6-round event.
Yes, ignore the 8. I copy pasted the previous slide and just forgot to change the number.
Teams of 5. Okay. See, it's okay. 5. It's okay. We got this. So in the Imperial Super Faction, there are 25 Assistants of Battle, 12 Custodes, 1 AdMech again. 10
that's not us.
8, that's not even you.
Maybe it is. Maybe our same team players is like, you know what? I'm just going to win both events.
He could do it.
Running.
Yeah.
10 Astra Militarum, 18 Grey Knights, 4 Imperial Knights, Space Marines, there's 4 Adeptus Astartes, 8 Dark Angels, 11 Space Wolves, 18 Blood Angels, 7 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 19 Chaos Space Marines, 14 T-Suns, 4 Death Guard, 13 War Leaders, 17 Demons, and 12 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 17 Necrons, 15 Orcs, 10 Tau, 8 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 17 Tyranids and 6 Gene Stealer Cult. Eldari, there's 7 Drukhari, 9 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Adeptus Astartes topping it off with 48. And then Adeptus Sororitas is next in the line with 25. That means none of them, except for Space Marines, hit the 50% mark.
Hit the 50%. Yeah.
And then Chaos Space Marines. I think that's Chaos Space Marines. It says Chaps Space Marines, but we'll
Chaps.
I typed it in as Chaps the first time, then corrected. I'm like, it's actually funny. I just leave it as Chaps.
Chaps Space Marines.
Well done.
They're all tipping their caps to each other.
Grey Knights and BA again tied with 18. The Tyranids, Necrons, and Demons behind them with 17. That means this meta is in an incredibly good spot if nobody's going over 50%, except for Space Marines. But I mean, they're Space Marines. There's so many Space Marine players. That's not really
default Space Marines. Right?
Yeah. And it's so funny. The only reason I denoted Blood Angels being in 3rd place in the previous one is because they were in 3rd place in both. So in Chattanooga, in both the 8s and the 5-player teams, Blood Angels, irrespective of Space Marines, would have made the faction podium. That's just showing how much faith, how much trust people have in that when they can pick, eight other sub factions. So Blood Angels are absolutely freaking everywhere. Adeptus Sororitas being number 1 is what I expected in some previous events this week, but they're all here. They're all here, and there's a decent gap between them and Chaos Space Marines. 6 players between Adeptus Sororitas and Chaos Space Marines. Really happy to see Chaos Space Marines though. They've been hitting around one of the top factions representation, but they seem to have had a decent drop off as people realize that they bought 30 ridiculously overpriced warp talents. Now only kind of want to play with 5 or 10.
I don't know, man. There was a couple of months where they were terrors.
Busted. Yeah. Uninteractive. I'm here to tell you, 10 of them played well, are still busted, but you wouldn't go any further than that because you can only really keep 10 safe. But I played against 10 with my guard a couple of times, and I'm just like, well, these guys are just going to eat a unit a turn, and I just need to be okay with that and move on with my life. Grey Knights, great representation in both these events. In fact, every event this week, Grey Knights are really starting to shine, and we're seeing a little bit more delineation between them. It's not just Dread Knight list. We're seeing quite a bit more power armor, and especially the 10 Terminators and Drago starting to make their way into a lot of different lists as well. Yeah, very much a powerhouse unit, and because they need that brawler, they need because of course you're very happy to take those Terminators off the table, put them back on the table, but at some point you're going to have to sit on some objectives in the new missions and score primary, and especially with a lot of the new actions triggering at the end of turns, you don't always want to be picking up your stuff.
I've been playing against them recently.
Yeah,
like it's a thing. It's a real thing.
It's an absolutely terrifying unit in some matchups, and especially with a little bit of protection, that unit can just run people over by itself. Nids, Crons, and Demons all making good representation as well. Demons, boys, Demons. Have anybody played against Demons yet?
Yeah.
Since 10.5.
Oh yeah,
they're good.
I'm not going
to sit here and say they're amazing, but they are so much improved.
They are very frustrated to play against. They are always being in shadow, basically. As long as there's greater demons alive, that is a pain to deal with.
Unshackled from Be'lakor as well. I mean, Be'lakor's still just fine, but you wouldn't take him unless you really have a plan for it. You get to just take the demons of your choice.
I haven't seen him any of the lists that I've played against since 10.5. None of them had Be'lakor.
they're just relieved, right? They're like,
Yeah.
well, he was auto take 350 points.
Yep.
I get to like be liberated for a couple of months before I want to consider him again. I'm just going to go everywhere else for a while. And I am starting to see, more Plague Bearers jumping into lists now. I think Plague Bearers are really quite good for their points, especially with sticky objectives. The Shadows deep strike if you want. OC2, toughness 5. If you just want to hold your backfield with them, so much the better. If you want to deep strike them off the ground and claim them, which I'm seeing pretty much everywhere with the Endless Gift.
I seriously considered them, including them in
Death Guard,
Death Guard list. Yeah,
well, the only issue is Death Guard already have good access to sticky objectives, so it's kind of like it's probably why you didn't, mate. Yeah,
but it's a point compromise to get something else that could do it also. Like that's
correct.
The thing. Right?
Yeah. You're just like, do I want to take Poxwalkers or good Poxwalkers?
Honestly, that's why I did not take them, because exactly what you described. But
Exactly
it's like
right.
that was put them on the list. Like, is that important to me? Kind of thing. So
yeah, exactly right. Another really cool spread. This one I think is a little bit less good a spread, I guess. But five pack versus 8-pack. The 8-pack starts to squeeze the meta together.
Yeah.
As the more players you get per team, whereas this one is a little bit more open to skews. But like I said, outside Sisters, it's a very nice spread as we go down. But man, 10 teams didn't take Adeptus Astartes. Only 10 out of 59. That's wild to see the power of the power armor. Anyway, gents, time for us to pick some winners. Who went first last one? Dustin went first last one.
I did.
Yeah. Paul, call your shot, because you're not playing. This is the one you're not playing in.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm not, but there are 18 Blood Angels, so
Yeah. All right. Done. Dustin, what would you like, mate?
I will be taking. You know what? I'll take the Tau in this one.
Yeah, not a bad call.
That's
not a bad call. I am going to back to GKs.
Oh, Dorian says Necrons. It's a.
What am I doing? I'm back in the Sisters. That's crazy. Crazy talk out of
it. Look. You already picked.
Yeah, you changed your.
Fine. All right, great.
No. Yeah,
Grey Knights.
it's fine.
No. I was pulled up. Grey Knights is in. There's no take backsies. We know. That's not a rule. That's not a rule.
We make this up every week as we go.
we do indeed, and it makes it's all the more fun for it.
Well, look, it's going to be some amazing 40K happening over the course of the weekend here in Chattanooga, which is like it's right behind me. I don't know if it's behind me. I mean, look out the window. I don't know where the event hall is.
Out the window that you can actually see if it's there.
It's somewhere near me. Going to be tons of 40K happening. I cannot wait to be doing this and participating in it. But that is the part in the show. Did we even pause for a sponsor? Like, we're going to sponsor ourselves. But look, if you were curious about how to sponsor the show, please check us out on Patreon. That is one way to support the show. This show takes a lot of work to produce, and one way you can say what's up is maybe support one of the tiers on Patreon. Consider doing that.
If you want to get to the second part of the show, that is the second tier on Patreon. Funny how it worked out like that.
second part of the show, Patreon. But look, also, leave us those 5-star reviews, leave us a thumbs up, leave some comments in the chat. There are tons of hassle-free ways to let the algorithms know that we are a great place to come hang out. And if you made it this far, if you've hear me say this, hit the thumbs up, at the very least. We love it. But here's the part in the show where we talk about stuff that maybe that has anything to do with 40K. This is the Fuego Rapido, where a segment where we maybe have a list of topics where we give ourselves a clock that we run down. And this is the palate cleanser. Like, the crunchy meta.
Well, it's a food debate is the topic here. So it is a palate cleanser.
The food debates.
There's multiple debates. Most of these are famous debates that are hard to solve, apparently. So
there we go. We give ourselves a clock, 2 minutes to talk about each topic, and once the clock runs down to 0, we abandon the topic, never to return to it again. Obviously, it's going to be solved after the end of every one of these
every time
takedowns. Yeah. So what do we got coming up?
So the first one. What is a food combination people eat that you just can't get behind, like dipping fries in a milkshake kind of thing? I actually can't get behind dipping grilled cheese into ketchup. I know that might be an unpopular opinion because I see a lot of people do it.
That happens?
Yeah, it absolutely happens. And I tried it once, and it was like I was eating a spoonful of ketchup. Like, why am I having grilled cheese at that point? It was too overpowering. Ketchup is like something that has to be inside what you're eating. It has to be like in a hot dog, in a hamburger, maybe with fries, obviously. But
with that in mind, like fries and mayonnaise, I do not get fries and just like naked mayonnaise. Like that makes no sense to me.
I've tried it and it's good. It's just it's weird.
It's not is it good or is it just like something to do? Does it
just need something to dip it in?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just something to do.
Having spent so much time in America now, you guys are obsessed with condiments, like absolutely condiment obsessed. Everything needs to be dipped. Everything needs to have something poured on it. Nothing is good enough the way it is served to you.
Yeah.
I would like to say I am not down with the submerging of tacos and burritos in like a jus or a sauce or it just taking something that was beautiful and crisp and making it soggy as hell.
Are you talking about you're talking about tacos?
Birria.
Yeah. Not down.
No, Dustin. No, birria is a thing like to where it's like that's a real sensation of taking like crispy, like fried in its own fat tortillas in the stewed beef into a consomme, and you don't dig on the consomme.
Oh yeah, I see.
The consomme is fine. I don't like the way the meal is supposed to be eaten. Like I had something that was beautiful and crispy, and now I'm going to make it so. Also, sorry, second one is in Japanese cuisine, they beautifully fry things in tempura batter and then put them in soup, and then I'm just like, it was perfect.
Ooh, I haven't had that.
Now it's ruined.
Yeah.
Of course, KR. I knew somebody was going to say pineapple on pizza. Somebody was going to.
Yeah, had to be done.
Had to be
Thank
done.
you.
All right.
Blasphemy.
Next one. Is soup something you eat or drink? Look on the
if
face.
the soup has chunks.
But you're still drinking it, aren't you?
Yeah, but you're chewing the chunks, so you eat
it.
But that's not the soup.
Can I come in here for a second?
Please do.
Look, if your soup is not something you would willingly lift up the bowl and drink, I don't want it.
That's, you know what? I think that like puts a nail in the coffin right there of what it is if it's drinking or eating. Because I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's actually a really good way to put it. If it's not good enough that you don't want to pick up the bowl and just drink it, that I'm not having it. So that's.
I came at this logically, with science and a draw action to back up my argument. And Paul's just doesn't matter anymore.
Okay,
opinions are valid.
Let's see. No, let's see what was your science behind.
I already said if it has chunks and you have to chew, it's eating. If you can consume it without chewing, if it's a soup you consume without chewing, it's drinking.
So were you eating hot chocolate when you chew on the powder that's still in there?
Why is there powder still in there?
Because it wasn't mixed properly, and sometimes there's powder at the bottom of it. It just happens. You know?
Did it wrong.
But it's still hot chocolate.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Are you eating it at that point? If you have to make chewing motions and you actually feel like a crunch or something has to get squished by your teeth when you're drinking something, are you then eating it instead of drinking it?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you're eating now. Yeah, correct.
That is a bold statement. And really,
I mean, I made it up just then. So
it really turns my views on life and eating upside down. Like I am actually.
You're all going with your gut. It's okay. You can answer from all this part of your body.
I am.
Right,
I think
that's
lost.
good.
I am a little lost in this one now. Next one.
Oh yeah, we're not going to dig up from that.
Is fruit a dessert?
Fruit is an everything food. I will eat fruit with every meal. I love it.
I agree. Actually, so I made a biscuit and gravy casserole recently as a dinner thing, and I serve fruit as a side.
As a side?
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect because it's a very thick, delicious, sumptuous. You need to break it up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
I'm a big fan.
But we're talking about like you just have like regular fruit, like you cut up some cantaloupe.
Yeah.
And some,
no, it was strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries as the side of the biscuit casserole. Biscuit
very
biscuit
delicious.
casserole.
Yeah.
My favorite meal, like favorite breakfast I've ever had, was in Mexico, where I just had a skillet with like 2 real thin pieces of pancetta, a couple of eggs, some fried asparagus, and then like a plate of melon and berries on the side. And I'm like, that is the finest breakfast I've ever had. Like it was so freaking good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of
It's-
it. As a dessert, I
superb.
feel like it's actually a really good palate cleanser to go with ice cream if you need to have ice cream with it too. But
Yeah.
I love having like cut up cantaloupe, strawberries, berries, just after a meal because it's got like the natural sugar, so it's still sweet.
Yeah.
Well, most of them anyway. I'm assuming I can't think of one that's not actually.
Mind you, I keep seeing watermelon now used in like in savory dishes, which I think is
Really?
interesting. Yeah, apparently, like it's a thing though. You add salt to watermelon, and it draws out the sugars,
seen
and it
something
tastes like
about-
watermelon, like compressed.
Like a
watermelon.
savory thing, is it?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have seen something
mean-
about like adding the salt to the watermelon. I have not tried that yet, but I've heard the same
Oh,
thing.
You should salt your watermelon for sure.
Really?
It's delicious.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really good.
eating a lot of watermelon down here in the south. Salt one watermelon.
Yay.
Huh?
Nice.
I've never tried it. Now I'm gonna have to try it with.
I mean,
watermelon.
fruit has to be a dessert, right? Because banana is like used in so many of the best desserts.
It doesn't have to be, right? I think we determined it doesn't have to be. It's for dessert.
Yeah.
It
It's
can
everything.
be.
Is it for dessert? Yes, but it's also everything
Fuego.
else.
Yeah.
There we go. Solved. Next one. Does ketchup belong on the fries or on the side for dipping?
On the side. Don't be a
On the
savage.
side. Like you cannot. Yeah. Don't do it.
See, I agree with this too, but why does everybody put it just glob it all over their fries? Like you're not going to
What-
get to all of them. Some of them are going to get way too much on them.
Nope.
You end up like having to mix it with your hands or something. It just seems wrong.
So I don't eat fries or French fries that often, and when I do, I want them salty as like it's because I'm craving like potato plus salt. So I want them salty as hell, and then
You
like
need
every
starch
like
and salt.
every like 6th or 7th chip, I want to dip it in something.
Like
Oh,
mayo?
you said
And that's
chips.
where
right
that's-
next to the
that's-
mayo and ketchup.
oh,
That's
sorry.
right, KR. Yep.
fries. I want to dip it in something. But mind you, my most favorite fries at the moment is with parmesan cheese on it. Just
Okay.
fries
Yeah.
and parmesan cheese. It's
Well,
delicious.
Parmesan has a bit of a salty taste
Yeah.
to it. Like it's got that kind of
Umami,
aged. Like
salty,
yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been getting really down with some of these creative, maybe not, maybe creative is the wrong word for it, but different things to put them with poutine, like butter chicken poutine.
Yeah.
Like those, like these kind of like dishes, like
sounds pretty
shawarma poutine. That's putting other kind of dishes with different sauces on there instead of the gravy. It's some of them just go
Like
so
real
well.
talk. It's about ketchup, and no, you put it on the side. But like poutine, like I will layer a bunch of stuff on fries. And
Exactly.
like I'm good with that.
So what's the difference there? Why are we dumping all the poutine stuff on there, but with the ketchup we have to be as a side?
It's culture.
Also,
Culture.
I would say I don't know if this is a Chicago thing, but I'm really down with mustard and fries now.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never tried that.
Yeah, hot mustard. Yeah, and
Hot
fries.
mustard.
Delicious, man. Delicious.
Huh.
Yeah, real good.
Okay.
Aioli.
Oh, come on. Well, that's mayo.
On
Yeah.
fries is
Yeah, it's mayo. So if you weren't down with the mayo with fries, then you wouldn't be down with that
Yep.
for sure.
Oh, that's true. Fuego.
All right. And then last but not least, Oreo cookies. What is the right way to eat them?
Straight out of the box. Just as many as you can, like handfuls at a time.
Like you're not breaking them
Solve.
apart?
Next question, please.
I'm a builder. I'm a builder. Every Oreo gets even the double stuffed ones. I will take them off, put two together,
What?
and just yeah. I will make a
What?
big Whopper Oreos. Like where you get the patty and then the bread and the patty and the
That
yeah,
was-
I'll just
That was
make
not
those
an answer I
guys.
was expected to get. So you
I will
take
slam
them
them.
apart, but then you put them back together bigger.
Yes,
This-
and then
And then you dip
because
them in
I eat those,
dip them in milk?
so I eat those without the milk. I just like slam them down, and then I have the offcuts that I dip in the milk, like just the biscuit. I just dip in the milk.
Oh, see, I hate the biscuits on their own. I hate them. Like if the Oreo didn't have that cream filling, I would never eat them. So like if I ever open them up and just lick the middle of it, it's like okay,
mean-
well throw out the rest. That's
I mean, I think it's so interesting that people in the States still call it cream filling when in Australia we're just like it's just icing, baby.
oh yeah,
it's just frosting.
I-
Yeah.
It's
It's
straight
sugar,
up
it's sugar and fat.
straight up
sugar and fat. Yeah.
cake frosting or icing, as we would call it here. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, I'll stick those bad boys together. I'll take them apart and stick them together,
So-
stack them up,
Hey, wait.
triple deck them.
How do you take
yeah.
them apart? You take like one apart, then you just put it over top of another one with the.
You just grab one and twist one, and it pops off.
twist
and
it, pop it off, and you got to
you-
clean.
and
You got to
this,
clean
this is the move.
Oh, you
Exactly
clean one
right.
first?
Yeah, no, you
Yep.
twist it off and you do a good job, and one side's got all the
Okay, no, so you're not
frosting
licking it
on
off
it.
then. You're not taking it off yet.
No. I'm sticking them together and then slamming them and doing that on 2 of them, and then you have 2 offcuts that then you put them together and you dip them in the milk.
Okay, I was not a fan.
But you should all just stop eating Oreos and do Tim Tams.
I've never heard of that.
Tim Tams are a great cookie ball, like world-renowned good cookie.
I've
That's
literally
a
never
different-
heard of
that's a
that
different-
before. Right
a different question.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Fuego. Now I have a lot of things. I have to put salt on a watermelon. I have to
Yes.
put mustard on fries, and I have to
And Parmesan.
try and Parmesan. I've actually had that, and I have to try a Tim Tam Flim Flam. What?
Tim Tam.
Tim Tam. Okay.
Yeah. There was a man called Tim and a lady called Tam, and I decided to make a biscuit.
Is that a true
The
story,
finest
or is that another
biscuit-
drop bear thing?
No,
it's
that's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I
And
don't. I
that
can't
is- I
trust
love-
any story that any origin story that Adam tells me now. I cannot. I can't believe. it.
Yes. That is the Australian tradition. The drop bear. I can't believe I got you with that. It was so good. And
That-
like Australians the world over do this at the drop of a hat. We all just like, as soon as someone talks about something, some stupid animal, we're like, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him with the drop bear.
Oh, Paul did the drop. The drop call.
He dropped.
He did
He
the drop call. The
He-
drop bear got him.
Up to you if he's a bear.
We're not sure.
I'm happy he wasn't here for that. Anyway, that's going to finish our show. 4 phenomenal events, and hopefully you'll join us over on the part 2 where we do the full look back. If you are playing and contending anywhere in this big wide world in some 40k goodness, I'm playing in a team event this weekend. 15 Deathwing Knights. Let's go.
Oh.
I'll see if they're good.
Oh.
We're going to find out. Trial by fire.
They are.
And if not, I'll drop them for some
Spoiler
lessons.
alert,
I'll
they
go
are.
right to guard. Turns out I am not worried. I think they are. Anyway, if you're playing in any 40k, please enjoy, spread some love, and enjoy your games. We're going to get out of here. Dustin, check us out.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check us out on the Patreon, and we will see you all next week. Happy wargaming.
Boy.
Boy.